So today I'm gonna read you 1 hour of random Minecraft facts to help you fall asleep. Get comfy, tuck yourself in, and listen to me yap. This feels very intimate, but anyways, here we go. If you feed a cookie to a parrot, it will actually kill the parrot instantly. This is because chocolate is toxic to parrots in real life, and in Bedrock Edition, feeding a cookie causes the parrot to become poisoned for 1,000 seconds. Funny enough, parrots in Minecraft actually originally were able to eat cookies, but this quickly changed due to concerns that children would replicate this in the real world. If skeletons get trapped inside powdered snow, it can actually transform into a stray. Once you think about it, it makes perfect sense because the stray is literally the cold weather variant of the regular skeleton. He's even got clothes on to keep himself warm. It's like Minecraft is secretly telling us a little story about how mobs adapt to their environment. Did you know there are 7 different types of pandas in Minecraft? Like the normal, aggressive, lazy, worried, playful, weak, and the super rare brown panda, which only has around a 2% chance of spawning naturally. You can tell the difference between all of the pandas by looking closely at their faces. They all have different emotions, which I didn't know. Minecraft's original name was actually Cave Game, which was an official temporary name given by Notch. And believe it or not, the name Minecraft was suggested by a player named Paul. Notch ended up loving the name Minecraft and described it as a lightweight, descriptive, catchy, and slightly ironic. And the rest is history. Now Minecraft is embedded in all of our childhood stories. In 2011, when the Enderman was introduced in 1.8, the Enderman originally released with green eyes instead of purple. And not only that, Endermen were able to pick up any full block in the game, including illegal blocks like mob spawners and even bedrock. That would have been a cheat code nowadays. I would have completely erased the bedrock floor in Minecraft by now. But today, Endermen obviously have purple eyes and can only now pick up a limited set of blocks, like dirt. And they literally place it in the most annoying spots. The original sound of the gas actually comes from a cat, but not just any random cat. It was C418's cat, who made the noise while being disturbed during a peaceful sleep. And if you don't know, which you should, C418 was the guy responsible for making some of Minecraft's most iconic music of all time. So shout out to C418. Did you know a lot of mobs are affected when struck by lightning? We all knew when a creeper is struck by lightning, it becomes supercharged. But did you know if a villager is struck by lightning, it also turns into a witch? Or when a pig is struck, it turns into a zombified piglin? Red mushroom cows also turn into brown mushroom cows, and vice versa. And a turtle will die instantly if struck by lightning, dropping a bowl instead of seagrass. I don't know why a turtle would drop a bowl, but yeah. A hoe actually has a lot more uses than just farming, and it's the preferred tool to break blocks like skulk, ward blocks, shroom lights, hay bales, targets, sponges, and even moss blocks. I still don't understand why shroom lights are broken faster with a hoe. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it does. So we all know the end portal requires 12 eyes to activate it, but each frame block has a 10% chance to spawn with an Eye of Ender already placed inside of it, which means that having a naturally fully lit end portal has a 1 in 1 trillion chance to spawn. And yet, a couple of these seeds have already been found and posted on YouTube, which is insane. That is like me finding a girlfriend, or even just a girl to talk to, which hasn't been documented yet, so maybe one day. Another fun random cookie fact. If you guys haven't heard already, I am planning on face revealing next month in December 2025. This is something a lot of you guys have been waiting on for over 4 years. And I never had a problem with face revealing. It's just I started my channel faceless and it kind of just became my thing. But I truly believe I'm funnier in real life and I'm just way sillier and stupid. So I think it's finally time for me to face reveal and to step into a new realm of content, I think. I have a lot of fun things planned. I've already filmed like 50 different TikToks of just me living my normal life to post on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm planning on getting an office so I can IRL stream with a face cam. And that's going to be a lot of fun because I'm planning on putting like a basketball net behind me so I can like go dunk in the middle of my Minecraft stream just for fun. But don't expect me to look like Michael B. Jordan or anything. Eventually, I might have brick face reveal and we can IRL stream together. It's just always been my dream to be a big YouTuber with a face or just stream with face cams on playing games. I think it'd be so much fun. So get ready for December because I'm literally going to blind you guys with how chopped I am. Anyways, let's continue the facts. Falling down into a bed will reduce your fall damage by 50%. A hay bale will reduce your fall by 80%. And surprisingly, falling onto a sweet berry bush, no matter the height, will reduce it by 100%. I don't know why. There's nothing about a sweet berry bush that would break your fall damage. It has the same effect as a cobweb, but cobwebs are so annoying because you're literally just stuck in it for like 5 minutes. You might as well call your stepbro to get you out. You might think the classic Steve skin is rocking a little smile, but here's the crazy part. He's he's actually not smiling at all. The pixelated grin we've all known is officially confirmed to be not a smile, but a beard. Honestly, no matter what Mojang says, I'll always see it as a smile. To me, Steve will forever be that happy, blocky face we all started our Minecraft adventures with. Thinking about Steve being a grown man kind of makes me uncomfortable. I still see him as like a 14-year-old Minecraft skin kid dude. Did you know creepers were originally a coding mistake made by Notch when he was trying to create the pig by reversing the width and height values? This mistake made the creeper we know now today, which stands up straight instead of a pig. Notch just made him green and made him blow up, which is probably the most annoying feature ever created. That one mistake haunts me every single day. If you get a skeleton to shoot a creeper enough times, it ends up dying, and the creeper will actually drop a music disc. Nobody really knows why this is a feature, but at least we have a method to make music disc farms now. Such a weird thing, but honestly it's kind of fun. It feels like a game trying to get skeletons to shoot a creeper. It feels like friendly fire. The satisfaction you get though when it pops out a music disc is like 10 out of 10. Skeletons and zombies are completely unaffected to insta damage potions. Instead, they can be damaged by only insta healing potions, which is kind of reversed due to them being labeled as undead mobs. On top of this, they are not affected by regeneration or poison potions either. You literally need to heal the skeletons and zombies to kill them. One of the rarest biomes in the game is the mushroom fields, or as I like to call it, the mushroom island. Since it almost always spawns surrounded by a deep ocean, the unique thing that some of you may not know about the mushroom island is that hostile mobs do not spawn in this biome no matter what time of day it is, making it a great place to set up a farm or a base, and which is why it is so rare to find. I should have set my base up in a mushroom island so no creepers can haunt my dreams. The well structure in the desert was added all the way back in version 1.2.1, and it's been considered one of the most useless structures added to the game since. But once 1.20 came around with the addition of suspicious sand, you can finally find suspicious sand under the water of the well, which makes it still pretty useless unless you're a fan of pottery shreds, like my friend Brick. He loves his brick pots, so wells might be his favorite structure in the game. Every time you use an anvil, instead of the anvil taking damage the same amount every time you use it, the anvil actually only has a 12% chance to take damage, which leads to the anvil looking a little mined or used, eventually breaking the anvil entirely. You can expect to get around 25 uses out of every anvil before it breaks, and you need to craft a new one. Everybody already knows about cobblestone generators, but have you seen a basalt generator before? It requires soul sand and blue ice. If the lava flows into a space where the soul sand is at the bottom, and the blue ice is on top of it, it will form basalt blocks, making an infinite basalt generator, which nobody in the world ever needs or wants. Originally, the Warden was never meant to be an overworld mob. In fact, the Warden was supposed to be a nether mob, which would release in the 1.16 nether update. He was described as a blind piglin that can only respond to sounds, and was supposed to have its own unique biome. This idea was likely scrapped so the overworld could have its own proper boss mob. And eventually, I feel like the ancient city is going to turn into some dimensional portal, which would take us somewhere brand new. That might come in like 10 years though. Lots of mobs in Minecraft have very specific fears, such as Endermen being afraid of water, creepers being afraid of cats, skeletons are afraid of dogs, hoglins are afraid of fungus, piglins are afraid of fire, which kind of doesn't make sense because they are born in the nether. But the least known, that pandas are afraid of thunderstorms and will hide their faces during a storm. I didn't even know that. That's kind of cool. After crafting a snow golem, you can use a pair of shears to cut off and drop the pumpkin's head, revealing the snow golem's funny, silly face underneath and turning him into a normal snowman. That's going to be me in December when I face reveal. You're going to see my silly, ugly face and it's going to blind you all. Sorry, not sorry. Blue ice is actually more slippery than regular ice or packed ice, which means boats can travel faster on blue ice. Using blue ice allows the boat to travel almost twice as fast as any other ice, at almost 73 meters per second, which the other ices only allow a 40 meter per second travel speed. I have no idea what 70 meters per second is in Minecraft blocks, but it sounds kind of fast. I don't know. Foxes obviously like to pick up items, but if a fox manages to get its mouth on a totem and ends up taking a fatal amount of damage, the totem will actually activate its effects and save the fox's life. So totems don't only work on humans. Did you know the position of a wolf's tail actually indicates how much health the wolf has? If the tail is tall and high in the air, that means your wolf has a lot of health, and if the tail is low to the ground, it means he's about to die. So feed your wolf some meat so its tail becomes erect again. A full Minecraft day cycle takes 20 minutes to complete. This means means every single 100 days video requires at least 2,000 minutes or 33 hours of pure footage to complete. And when I film my 100 days videos, it actually takes me longer than 33 hours. Because all the extra footage I need to record, like B-roll and just setting up the story, I guess. And that doesn't even include editing and post-production. So a full 100 days video takes me and my team over 100 hours to do. So yeah, that is a random fun fact of my videos. A lot of people think Minecraft worlds are infinite, but if you manage to travel a staggering 30 million blocks from spawn, you will find a naturally placed world border. The fastest way to reach the border would be by traveling in the nether, since 1 block in the nether equals 8 blocks in the overworld. If you use shears on a mushroom cow, it will turn back into a regular cow and drop the mushrooms from its back onto the ground. But the cow will not turn back into a mushroom cow no matter how long you wait, so make sure you don't shear your cows. You can feed brown mushroom cows certain types of flowers, and you'll get certain types of suspicious stew back when you milk them with a bowl. An oxy daisy flower will give regeneration, a corn flower will give jump boost, an allium flower will give you fire resistance, a blue orchid and dandelion will give saturation, an obscure bluelet will give you blindness, poppy and torch flowers gives you night vision, tulips give weakness, lily of the valley gives poison, and wither roses of course gives wither effects. Honestly, reading that entire fact, I felt like I was reading a fairy tale. Somebody test this and tell me if this is true or not. Instead of throwing away your old worn armor, try smelting it. You can smelt any piece of gold or iron armor in a furnace to get 1 nugget back. You heard that right, 1 single nugget. Not even an ingot, just 1 nugget. You know what? On second thought, just throw away your armor. It's completely useless. A single piece of coal can smelt exactly 8 items. A blaze rock can smelt 12 items. A dried kelp block can smelt a whole 20 items. A block of coal can smelt 80 items, which is like getting an extra piece of coal, since 9 individual pieces of coal would only smelt 72. So a block of coal is actually a buy one get one deal. But the actual best source of fuel in the game is easily the lava bucket, which smelts 100 items before running out. The millionth person to ever buy Minecraft, some guy named Akron Man 1, who was probably LeBron James because he was born in Akron, Ohio, who still has the same username today, was gifted the millionth customer cape by Mojang themselves. The cape features a purple background with a gold star in the middle. It should have been a cookie instead of a star, to be honest, but hey, congrats, bro. We're all special like you, man. Netherite armor and tools are completely immune to burning in fire and even float in lava. So if you ever die in lava with full netherite, at least you can come back and get your armor and tools that survived. Everything else though, yeah, say goodbye. They're all burned to crisps and you'll never see them again. Naming any rabbit Toast will turn it into a black and white rabbit. The lore behind the name Toast is that a random Reddit user, his girlfriend's rabbit sadly went missing, and a Minecraft developer named Ryan Holtz saw the post and added the tribute into the game, so Toast is never forgotten. That is a really cool addition. I didn't even know that existed. When you throw a chicken's egg, there's about a 12% chance a baby chicken will spawn, but there's actually a 0.39% chance that the egg will pop out 4 baby chickens at the same exact time, which means if you throw 256 eggs, you should at least get 1 egg spawning 4 chickens. I love when this happens. It's so satisfying. Skeletons, wither skeletons, zombies, creepers, and even piglins all drop their respective heads when they are killed by a charged creeper explosion, which makes obtaining mob heads possible, but extremely difficult without a trident with channeling, unless you want to wait around for a lightning strike to hit a creeper, which will probably take years. According to Notch, the Ender Dragon is actually a female, and even Notch gave the Ender Dragon the nickname Jean. So whenever you kill the Ender Dragon and harvest her egg, just know you're stealing away Jean's babies. Shame on you. If you place a bed in the nether or the end and try to sleep, the bed will explode. I'm sure we all knew this, but did you know it's not the same for villagers? Apparently, villagers have a special power that allows them to sleep peacefully inside both the nether and the end without a massive explosion happening. These lucky villagers, man. If you want to take on the challenge of mining obsidian with your fists, it would take you 250 seconds to break obsidian. However, if you use a wooden pickaxe, it halves the time to 125 seconds, which is a little over 2 minutes. But with a stone pickaxe, you can mine obsidian in just a minute. An iron pickaxe takes about 40 seconds. A gold pickaxe only takes 21 seconds. A diamond pickaxe cuts it down to 9.4 seconds. And of course, if you use a netherite pickaxe, it only takes 8.3 seconds to mine obsidian. In order to craft a fully powered beacon, it would take you 1,476 ingots to build, which is 164 blocks. Now, if you want to create a full netherite beacon, this would take nearly 6,000 netherite scraps. And don't forget the gold you need as well. You can literally just use the gold to craft a full beacon yourself. And And this is why I've never built a netherite beacon in my hardcore world. It would take me forever. But maybe at 10 million subscribers, so click the subscribe button if you haven't already. A sponge can soak up to 7 blocks of water in every single direction, which equals to about 65 blocks at once. On top of this, sponges can be normally dried out by smelting them in a furnace, but if you place them inside the nether, the sponges will dry instantly. Ancient debris has a very strong blast resistance, which is why a lot of players use TNT and beds to mine in the nether for netherite, instead of using a boring old pickaxe. It's also so much more fun, risky, and fast too. The dragon head found at the tip of the end city ship can be worn by placing it on the helmet armor slot, and actually animates itself when you run around with it on. But a lot of people don't know that if you power the dragon head with redstone, the dragon head actually moves and becomes animated, which could make some really cool builds. When you attack a mob and land a critical hit, those hard particles that pop off the mobs aren't random at all. It actually directly shows how much damage you inflict on the mob. So if you see 5 hearts pop out of a mob, you just did 5 hearts worth of damage. If you need an easy way to transfer mobs down, you can use some leads and attach the mobs to a chicken, and then push the chicken off, and the chicken actually works like a parachute, allowing the mobs to slowly fall to the ground. Honestly, I need to start using this. This is genius. If you spawn a snow golem in a desert biome, since it's so hot, the snow golem will start to take damage and die pretty much instantly. But if you quickly apply fire resistance potions to the snow golem, it will be able to survive in the hot conditions for as long as the effects last. If your iron golem has been through and looks all damaged like this and beat up, you can actually repair him by feeding him an iron ingot. But you cannot use iron nuggets, raw iron, or iron blocks. It only works with an iron ingot. Gold is the only type of ore in the game that is unable to break and collect itself. Meaning, if you break a gold ore using a gold pickaxe, the block will still obviously break, but no gold ore will be dropped. Luck potions that can be obtained in creative mode allows the players to have a higher chance of obtaining higher quality loot. But did you know that there's actually the opposite effect called bad luck, only able to be given out with a command? The icon for bad luck has changed 3 times and resembles a dead, dried out 4-leaf clover. And the potion effect itself hasn't been removed due to the usage from map creators. If you create a brand new world, your very first enchantment on an iron sword will always be looting 3 without fail. However, if you end up logging out of your single player world before enchanting the iron sword with looting 3, then your next enchantment will be randomized. So you only have 1 chance to obtain it. If you used a glow ink sac on a sign to make it glowy but you regret it, you can actually use a regular black ink sac from a squid to reverse the effects of the glowy sign, turning the glowy sign back into a regular old sign. And when evokers see blue sheep around them, the evoker will emit an orange particle while saying "oh woo 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 woo," and which casts a spell upon the sheep. It literally just sounded like I just read some folk fairy tale Harry Potter story, which will turn its blue wool into red wool. This is a reference from the game Age of Empires, where monks can change their color of the team. In Age of Empires, sheep don't require monks to change teams, and any type of unit can claim them. If it's raining inside of your hardcore world, you can actually sleep in your bed faster. 32 Minecraft minutes early to be exact. But we all know Minecraft minutes aren't the same as real world minutes. So this math turns out to be a little less than 27 seconds. But hey, 27 seconds is a pretty long time, especially when beds are involved. If you hit a creeper with a slash potion and allow the creeper to explode, the creeper will emit the lingering potion effects upon its death. This is the only way to have the lingering potion effect without having a bottle of dragon's breath. After the 1.20 update, the desert temple actually was given a new secret room that not many people know about. There is a little section of sand in the top part of the temple, and you can use a brush to reveal some loot from the suspicious sand, revealing emeralds, pottery shards, and other sorts of random loot. If you ever take a close look at an empty hotbar, you'll realize something familiar about the texture. The texture of the hotbar is the same exact texture as regular sand, adjusted with a really low opacity. It's very easy to notice this if you look into the sky, and this is also something you would probably never unsee again, so I'm sorry about that. Breaking a tripwire trap with your hand or any sort of tool will still trigger the tripwire itself, but if you take the extra step of using shears to break the string between the tripwire hooks, the trap will actually not trigger. It's kind of like cutting the right wire when you're defusing a bomb, like we're always in that situation in real life. Nitwits, the villagers who wear a green coat, are completely unemployed and useless. They actually wake up a little later than the rest of the responsible villagers who actually have jobs. It kind of reminds me of some of my friends who wake up at 4 p.m. Nitwits will wake up 1 minute and 40 seconds later than the rest of the village, truly living the unemployment life. Putting a hay bale underneath a campfire will allow the smoke to rise even further than normal, reaching a peak of 24 blocks high instead of the normal 10 blocks. And this is a trick I use in most of my builds when I'm using campfires. Breeding a horse with a donkey using some golden apples or golden carrots will always result in the baby of the parent becoming a mule. Similar to the way cats always land on their feet in real life, cats in Minecraft will not take any fall damage no matter how high up they fall. It could be 10 blocks or 100 blocks or even 1,000 blocks, and the cat will still fall to the ground without taking a single heart of damage. They are literally invincible. Pretty much everyone knows if you're playing Minecraft on a computer, you can grab a copy of your block that you're looking at by using the middle mouse button. But what a lot of players don't know, if you hold Control plus the middle click button on your mouse and then click an item such as a sign with text on it, it grabs the chest with the same NBT data, allowing you to place the same exact items over and over inside of the chest. Blowing up TNT in water is usually impossible, but here's a fact you'll only know if you played Minecraft factions back in the day and raided bases. If you drop a piece of sand on the TNT as it's about to go off, even inside of water, the TNT will still explode and break the surrounding blocks. A small tip that will make a lot of players' lives easier involves dropping items. Q is the default drop key in Minecraft, and the way to quickly drop items is by holding down the Q button to spew items out. Or if you want to drop a complete stack of blocks, you can hold Control Q to instantly drop the entire stack. In Java edition of Minecraft, the little green book that allows you to quickly craft items and show the recipes of books seen in the inventory screen actually has an official name. It's called the Knowledge Book. And something even more interesting, the book is obtainable with commands allowing it to be held in the inventory. If you're one of the people who still to this day doesn't know what Banes of Arthropod does, well, you're about to learn. Most people know that Banes of Arthropods increases damage to spiders and cave spiders, but something most people don't know is that it also increases damage to silverfish and endermites. On top of all of this, it applies the slowness 4 effect to these mobs. Usually when you want to craft walls or fences, you have to choose your materials wisely, because you only get the choice of either the fence or the wall, unless you decide to use nether bricks, because nether bricks are the only type of block in the game to have both a regular fence and a wall variant craftable. The Minecraft clock has a total of 64 frames, and each frame takes 18.75 seconds before moving to the next frame, fulfilling the entire Minecraft day of lasting about 20 minutes total. Baby piglins are some of the most greedy little gremlins in Minecraft. They don't give items back when you give them gold, they don't pay taxes, they don't pay rent, but you get the point, they don't do much for society. They kind of remind me of my friend Brick. Placing a hanging sign yields a different chain shape depending on if you're crouching or not. Without crouching, you'll get the regular 2 chains holding up the signs, but if you crouch, the chain turns into more of an upside down V shape. So pick whichever one suits your build the most. It takes a whopping 81 regular pieces of ice to create one singular blue ice. Turn those 81 regular ice into 9 packed ice, then the 9 packed ice into 1 block of blue ice. That is the worst buy one get one deal I can ever think of. If you ever wanted to see Minecraft through the eyes of a mob, you actually can. Once you go into spectator mode, you can click on any mob and see the world through their eyes. Some mobs like the creeper even have a special vision where the entire world is shown as green. Endermen have a completely inverted color vision and kind of the same view as me because I'm Asian, very squinty, and spiders get usage out of all 6 eyeballs, making a really weird effect to look at in Minecraft. Did you ever wonder what the single piece of magenta glass is for on the end chips within the end cities? Well, on snapshot 15W31A, which is one of the first snapshots where end cities were added, the developers had beacons inside of the ships with speed 1, but this was later revealed to only be for testing purposes and was removed in later snapshots. Imagine if you get a beacon and an elytra from raiding end ships. That would have been insane. But the piece of magenta glass used to change the color of beacons remains to this day. Drinking a bucket of milk will completely remove any potion effects you have, but something more useful is bottles of honey. Drinking a bottle of honey will remove only the negative potion effects, like poison or slowness, and you'll keep all of your positive potion effects, like fire resistance. Despite being a flying mob, ghasts actually do not spawn in the air. Ghasts still spawn on the ground just like any other mob. Yeah, you thought you were special, huh? Just because you can fly, you still have to spawn on the ground. However, they require a lot more space to spawn, needing a free area of 5 by 5 blocks wide and 4 blocks high to fit their big back in the world. A lot of people believe that if you let the leaves on the trees despawn naturally, you have a higher chance of leaves dropping sticks, saplings, and apples. But this is actually a myth. It doesn't matter matter if you let leaves despawn or if you break it all by hand. The same exact drop results will occur. So if you're in a rush for saplings or apples, just start breaking leaves with your fist instead of waiting around. I personally will never believe this though, because my entire life of playing Minecraft, waiting for it to despawn naturally just seemed more lucky than breaking it by hand. Sugarcane is most commonly planted on either dirt or sand. And no, sugarcane does not grow faster on sand, despite many people swearing by this theory for years. But anyways, did you know you can also plant sugarcane on grass blocks, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, podzol, mycelium, sand, red sand, suspicious sand, moss blocks, and even mud? So choose your block wisely. And legend has it that sugarcane actually grows faster on mud. Source, trust me, bro. All the way back in Minecraft 1.2.1, which is like the earliest version ever, I swear, there were two unused hieroglyphic textures added to the game. I don't know how to say that word. That is a huge word. One of the blocks has little shapes on it and a creeper face inside, and the other block kind of resembles a breeze or a blaze. To me, it looks like a breeze. That is kind of insane. So maybe Minecraft was planning these blocks way earlier than we realized, like years ahead. Lecterns were originally developed all the way back in 2012 by Dinnerbone himself, but there were too many technical problems that arose with this new block. So the idea was thrown away. But luckily in 2018 with the 1.14 update release, Mojang decided to revisit this idea and successfully added lecterns into the game without breaking Minecraft. And I think it's a pretty awesome block to use as decoration. Every single type of glazed terracotta can be found within naturally generated structures in the game, except for 3 specific types of terracotta, which is green, magenta, and pink. These can only be crafted by the player and aren't found across the world unlike all the other colors. To this day, I still don't know why glazed terracotta exists. It seems like such a broken, untextured, like mistake of a block. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of like me. Everybody knows that sugarcane only grows up to 3 blocks tall. But if you're hunting down sugarcane naturally, there's a pretty high chance you'll be able to find sugarcane that's actually 4 blocks tall, which is a 1 in 9 chance. And I'm sure we've all seen this before and we're amazed thinking we found something super rare, but it's like an 11% chance. To breed a sniffer in Minecraft, you need 2 torchflower seeds. And unlike any other mob that just pops out a tiny version of themselves, sniffers will actually drop an egg that you must place down and give it time to fully hatch. But did you know that baby sniffers actually have an official name? They're called snifflets, and it's probably one of the coolest and most matching names I've ever heard. Like when we see a baby cow, we just call it baby cow, or a baby pig. We call baby sniffers snifflets. Like that is so cute. If you're ever looking for the most efficient smelting fuel, whatever you do, do not use bamboo or scaffolding blocks. Bamboo and scaffolding are the absolute worst fuel source in the entire game. Only smelting 25% of an item for every single bamboo. So you need 4 entire pieces of bamboo just to smelt 1 piece of cobblestone. Talk about a scam. Cake is one of the most unique and coolest foods in Minecraft. A lot of people see it as a trophy or a milestone to create a cake within their world. But you probably didn't know cake was added to Minecraft as a celebration when Minecraft won 2010's Indie of the Year awards. So every time you bake a cake, remember that you're celebrating one of the best games ever created all time. So it's pretty cool to be one of Minecraft's biggest YouTube creators. So thanks guys. Putting a block above a chest usually makes it so you can't open the chest at all. It just completely blocks it. But a little building tip that I use all the time ever since I was a kid is I place stairs or slabs above the chest so it can still be opened, because these blocks don't count as a full block. So it's kind of a building hack if you want to add a nice design or detail to your chest room. If a hoglin is exposed to the overworld for 15 seconds, it will turn into a zoglin. And a zoglin will also be given the nausea effect for 10 seconds after the zombification, which doesn't do anything to the zoglin. It just shakes and looks kind of stupid. But while we're talking about zoglins, if you're getting chased down by one, just place down an armor stand, and zoglins for some reason absolutely hate armor stands and will just start attacking them. I don't know why they do this. Maybe they're dumb and can't see straight and just think an armor stand is me and they start attacking it. I don't know. There is a total of 35 different horse skin patterns, ranging from white, gray, black, dark brown, light brown, chestnut, and even creamy. My favorite skin pattern. If you fall into a pit of lava, it will only take 2.5 seconds for you to fully burn and die. But you can increase the time of survival by putting on some armor. The better the armor, the longer it takes to burn. With the longest time you can survive being 11 full seconds by wearing netherite armor. The chestplate is the only piece of armor in the game to not have any sort of unique enchantment, which means the helmet has Aqua Affinity and Respiration, boots have Soul Speed and Feather Falling, and leggings have the new Sneak Swift enchantment. And the chest plate has nothing special to it, but at least it covers your nipples, so I guess that's a benefit. If you ever need enchanted golden apples, or god apples as we call it back in the day, ancient cities will be the best place to find them, because chests inside of the ancient city has the highest chance of spawning golden apples, with an 8.4% chance spawning 1 to 2 golden apples every single time. That's if you don't die to the warden blasting you with his spitballs. If you're ever building a gold farm, it is pretty annoying to walk on magma because it just burns you every time. You always need to hold sneak. But if you want to be god and walk on magma without shifting, you can enchant Frostwalker on your boots, which will allow you to walk freely on magma blocks without taking any damage, basically becoming Jesus himself. Everybody knows how the golden carrot looks in Minecraft, but if you're an OG player, you probably remember the original texture of golden carrots. It does not look like what it does today. But if you're even more OG, you would know that the golden carrot had 4 total textures to it. The first texture being this long curved carrot all the way back in 12.34a, whatever it is, and then a stubbier one later on, which is even worse. But then they decided to make it look like a normal carrot and not shame us for being born naturally. The decorated pot is a pretty underutilized item in the game, and since the pot has 4 sides, you can put a different design on every single side. That means there is an insane 194,481 total unique designs of the brick pot. I'd like to challenge somebody who could collect every single combination in survival. That would take me forever. 1 million likes and I'll collect all 200,000 unique design pots and have brick help me. If you ever take a close look at deep slate blocks, which should be grimstone blocks, you notice that they behave in the same way that logs do, meaning they are directional, and depending on which way you place them, that is the way textures will face. I honestly don't like this at all. It is so annoying placing down deep slate blocks. It just looks all messed up. The alley mob was originally planned to be added in 2020's Nether update, and other names for it was the Wisp or the Pixie, but in 2020 the idea was scrapped away and reintroduced for the 1.19 mob vote, where the alley actually won against the Glare and the Copper Golem. But now Minecraft is bringing the Copper Golem to life, which is actually my favorite. That is what I voted for back in 2022. Did you know the pufferfish had 2 known textures? The first one was released back in 1.7 and it was much brighter yellow and looked like it had 2 black eyes. It looked kind of shocked and scared. And the other one actually looked like a fish. But the texture we know now for the pufferfish is way more colored. It has like a pale belly and it has like 2 arms sticking out. He kind of looks derpy and he's really annoying. The sound of a slime bouncing around is the same exact noise you hear when placing down and breaking a sea pickle. Horses have all different types of healths, speeds, and jumping abilities. But on the other side of the family, we have donkeys, which can have different levels of health, but the jumping ability and the speed is always the same no matter what, because they are fat slobs and they don't like to work out, kind of like my friend Brick. The only way to get a donkey with better abilities is by breeding it with faster horses, but that results in a mule. So it's not really a donkey. It is more like a Shrek. The annoying, very useless wandering trader that we all hate has been rocking the same outfit since he was added all the way back in version 1.14. But before he was given his iconic blue robe hood, there was a few designs that Mojang considered for the wandering trader. The first one being this design where the wandering trader has a giant green emerald stuck inside of his forehead. Kind of like Lil Uzi Vert when he implanted a diamond inside of his forehead. I don't know why he did that. And he also rocked lighter blue clothes with a darker blue cape, along with a pouch of giant emeralds in the front. Another design choice for the wandering trader involved keeping pretty much the same colors and robe that we have today, but instead of a hood, the wandering trader would have been wearing a fedora hat, which looks absolutely hilarious. He kind of looks like a scavenger or some zookeeper, or he looks bald. I mean, I guess villagers are bald, but it really emphasizes it. When gunpowder was added into the game all the way back in in-dev version 0.31, this version didn't have a 1 in front of it. It had a 0. It was originally called sulfur, and on top of having an entirely different name, every mob in the game at the time was capable of dropping sulfur, but obviously only creepers drop gunpowder today. But also witches and ghast can also drop gunpowder. The crafting table is one of the most iconic items in the entire game. I mean, it is the block that allows us to actually play the game and create insane stuff. But most Mojang almost made a dire mistake back in the day while naming this block. Originally, it was named the Workbench, which in my opinion would have been an awful name, especially because the game is literally called Minecraft. So the crafting table makes so much sense. So the switch up from Workbench to a crafting table was such an upgrade and kind of brought the entire game together. The Ender chest allows players to privately store an entire chest worth of items, and nobody else can access this chest and see or steal your items, which I thought was the coolest thing ever when it was introduced in the game. Now that we have shulker boxes, I feel like it kind of ruined the specialness of an Ender chest. However, this wasn't always the case for Ender chests. Previously, the way Ender chests would function is that they would serve more of a community chest, meaning if you put a stack of diamonds in the Ender chest and your friend opened a different Ender chest across the world, your friend would actually be able to steal your stack of diamonds. But I really like the private aspect of this feature. If you ever wanted a blast from the past and revisit the old Minecraft textures, you can easily access this by going into the resource packs tab of the game and selecting the programmer art resource pack. This resource pack is designed to hold all the original textures, including the old ugly netherrack, which I think looks more Minecrafty because it just reminds me of the old days. It brings back all the old ore textures like diamond and gold and redstone and so many other blocks that have been redesigned across years of the game. Some people consider anvils to have a very expensive crafting recipe, needing 3 blocks of iron at the top and 4 nuggets at the bottom for a total of 31 iron ingots in total. But when anvil was first added to the game, the crafting recipe was even more expensive, requiring 6 iron blocks and 1 ingot in the middle for a grand total of 55 iron ingots. That is almost an entire stack just to make one anvil that breaks on you. So it's really nice that Minecraft changed the recipe. The enchantment table was originally set to not even require obsidian to craft. In fact, the enchantment table was originally going to require cobblestone instead of obsidian, which kind of looks like this, almost like a decked out piston with diamond corners. After a little bit, Minecraft added a nice red cloth on top of it to make the table look more rich. And then Mojang decided cobblestone wasn't good enough for such an impactful item in the game, so they switched out cobblestone with obsidian, making it look like how it is today. Instead of staying close to a creeper waiting for it to explode, you can instantly light a creeper with a flint and steel, which guarantees it to blow up right in front of you, which means you can drive by these creepers, light them up with a flint and steel, and run past them without any worries in the world. We all know gravel and sand falls down due to gravity in Minecraft, and also lanterns require to be placed on a solid block, either on the ground or on a ceiling. But if you hang a lantern from a solid block and super quickly replace that block with gravel before the lantern pops, you can get a super illegal floating gravel and lantern combination, which explodes if you destroy either block. This combo kind of defies gravity in both ways. Minecraft has one of the most iconic logos of all time, especially involving a little creeper face within the A of the craft. But we almost completely missed out on having this beautiful logo during the creation of the Minecraft logo. These were some of the original ideas, some of them just being a flat pixelated text, while some other designs gave off the vibe of a flash game you would play on the school computer. Even this white, blue, and green logo was considered, which is honestly not the worst looking logo, but it looks kind of like a kid's game. Well, I guess it is a kid's game, but the logo today is unbeatable. It is so iconic and it just looks like Minecraft. Placing a block of TNT at the height limit of Y level 320 actually won't allow the TNT to explode and break any blocks at all. This is because since blocks aren't allowed to be placed above this limit, when we use a dispenser to pop a TNT at technically level 321, the TNT block basically doesn't exist anymore, therefore exploding into nothing. This same feature also applies to creepers who magically end up at the height limit. Applying a name tag to either a giant slime or a giant magma cube will cause all of its smaller slimes to have the same original name tag applied to them as well, meaning we can get a bunch of slimes with the same name only using one name tag. So it's kind of like a duplication glitch. If you name it cookie, you can get 9 more cookies popping out of it. You should always use regular clear windows in your house if you're based up inside of a snowy biome, because when it snows in Minecraft, you can't actually see the snow falling from the sky if you decide to use tinted glass. Snowfall is completely invisible through tinted glass and can only be seen through regular old glass. This also applies to regular rain as well, and this will make your base feel a lot cooler and immersive because you can actually see snow. Similar to the end dragon head found at the end city ship, the piglin head has a secret special animation when powered by a redstone current. When you power the head, the ears flop around and the piglin kind of just looks like a dumb I mean, a really cute boy. Silk Touch allows players to pick up most blocks that are usually deemed unobtainable, like grass blocks or diamond ores. But what Silk Touch refuses to work on is suspicious sand and gravel. No matter how hard you try, these blocks are impossible to obtain in survival mode, even when you're trying to use Silk Touch. So you can never have a naturally spawned suspicious sand or gravel ever. Riding a camel allows you to completely avoid damage from a horde of zombies due to being elevated off the ground, because zombies are short and they cannot reach you. So if you're getting really sick and tired of zombie hordes, you should try getting yourself a camel from a desert village to make your life a lot easier. If you try to spawn a wither in a snow biome, they will never be able to spawn. This is because the small layer of snow on the ground intervenes with the soul sand blocks that connect to the wither skeleton skulls. So you can technically spawn a wither in a snowy biome, but the structure must be elevated off the ground, so no blocks are in the way. I can't believe even a speck of snow can stop the wither from spawning. Aren't you supposed to be a boss? If you're falling to your death but manage to magically land on a totem, the totem will pop instantly, allowing you to survive the fall. Just be sure not to miss the totem on the ground upon landing. Otherwise, you're gonna be dead and part of the ground. Honestly, this is kind of a cool trick. Should I try this in my hardcore world, or is it not worth the risk? Subscribe if you think I should. Trapping a villager and putting a dispenser filled with a pumpkin right next to the villager's head will allow the villager to actually wear the pumpkin. So if you ever wanted your villagers to be protected from Endermen, or if you want to give them a Halloween costume, or if they're just extremely ugly and you don't want to see their big fat nose, you should try this. I might need to try for my real life face, to be honest. People usually give me weird looks when I'm in public. The beacon is a super exotic and monumental block in the game, but as special as it is, you can mine a beacon only using your fists, which is kind of crazy. There is literally obsidian and diamonds inside of it. You don't need a special tool to pick it back up, and what makes it even crazier, mining a beacon with your fist is the same exact speed with mining it with a pickaxe. Like, bruh, how does that even make any sense? Did you know mobs are completely unable to walk over rails? So if you surround yourself in a small circle using rails, it's kind of like making an invisible barrier against the mobs. Just one little particle of a rail stops them from walking over. That's how stupid zombies are. Skeletons, on the other hand, well, obviously they can shoot you, and creepers can blow you up, but zombies, on the other hand, cannot walk over the rails. Well, what idiots. Obviously, when you milk a cow, you can get milk. You can also milk a mushroom cow for mushroom soup. But another source of milk that you probably didn't know of is actually getting it from goats. There is no difference between milk from a cow or a goat, even though one is coming from LeBron James himself. I would assume it would be better, but in Minecraft, it isn't. So if you ever need milk and there's no cows around, just head to LeBron James and go touch his udders. Low-key my dream. If you ever wanted to just stare into the soul of an Enderman's eyes without the Enderman getting mad at you, you can simply put some glass between you and the Enderman. Endermen are actually too dumb to see you through glass, which is like the opposite of wearing glasses. They actually get more blind. So it's kind of a perfect way to get some intimate eye contact with Endermen without pissing them off. A super unique way to light TNT is by using a fishing rod that has went through lava. So instead of using a boring flint and steel or redstone torch to light your next piece of TNT, try using a fishing rod and it'll impress all of your friends, increasing your aura. It's kind of overkill though, but hey, you can fish fire now. If you use a spawn egg and spawn in cats near a witch hut in the swamp, every single cat will be a black cat. Obviously, because witches love black cats and they're deemed as bad luck. So when I got my cat Cookie, which is just a full black cat, my mom really didn't like him, but now she kind of loves him because he's so cute. Walking on campfires usually inflicts a little bit of damage, but if you're smart enough to equip some Frostwalker boots before taking the walk, you won't take any damage at all. Now you can freely walk on campfires without having burning, smelling, smoking feet. Even though that's my favorite scent to smell, I just love some crusty old feet particles. If an ocelot sniffs out a chicken nearby, the ocelot will go into hunting mode, slowly approaching the chicken and of course eventually attacking it and killing it. This mechanic only applies to regular ocelots in the wild, but if you tame one, it will not attack your chickens. We all know the beacon beam gets blocked by solid blocks but can flow through glass. You can also change the color of the beacon using colored glass. But one solid block that beacons can go through is bedrock, believe it or not. So if you end up in a situation where you need a beacon to shine through bedrock blocks, you know the beacon will work, even though this is probably impossible, unless you somehow build the beacon beneath the world, which would be kind of a cool challenge. Leather horse armor is a rather new addition to the game, and it might have gone over some of your heads that you can of course dye the horse armor any color you like, allowing you to give your horse that extra drip he needs to find another horse to get on with, so you can make some baby horses. Giving a fox with a sword with a fire aspect enchantment will actually allow the fox to light mobs on fire when they attack them. Dropping cooked meat when you kill the animals like a chicken, which gives you an automatic deep fryer for KFC chicken. If a copper rod gets struck by lightning while connected to redstone, it actually generates a redstone current, setting electrical natural power into redstone, and it will turn on whatever the lightning rod was connected to. Levers can be either activated by players, or if you want to be more advanced, you can throw a wind charge at the lever and it will actually turn it on or off, making some pretty cool contraptions with wind charges. If you Google the word Minecraft, there is a little grass block button at the bottom of the screen, which changes your mouse into Steve's arms, allowing you to break blocks on the screen. You can even obtain and upgrade the pickaxe by hitting blocks such as stone or iron ores. And when you want to leave, a creeper actually spawns in front of you, exploding as you exit the page when you return back to Google. So if you're ever too poor to buy Minecraft, just play on the browser. Placing certain kinds of blocks underneath a note block allows the note block to create vastly different noises. Here's the list for different types of sounds. Wood blocks create string bass. Glass creates clicks and sticks. Sand creates the snare drum. Clay is for the flute. Packed ice creates chimes. Wool allows for a guitar. Dirt creates piano keys. Hay bales create a banjo. Emerald blocks create 8-bit sounds. Soul sand creates a cowbell. A glowstone creates an electric piano. Gold blocks is for bells. Bones and iron blocks create xylophones. And finally, stone blocks create the bass drum. I honestly did not even know that before I read that. Fortune obviously applies to all ores such as iron, diamonds, and gold, giving you more than you mine. But most people aren't aware that fortune also applies when collecting amethyst shards, allowing you to collect significantly more shards in geodes. So you can craft yourself the infinitely useful spyglass, something every player uses. That was sarcasm, by the way. Snow layers can be placed on every single solid block in the game, except for regular ice and packed ice. However, if you want to put snow on blue ice, that's perfectly acceptable according to Minecraft laws. But I feel like you can't place snow on other ice blocks because they are labeled as transparent, but who knows. Did you know honey blocks are a little smaller than regular blocks? Because of this feature, you can shoot an arrow through the side of a honey block, even when it's placed against a full block, making kind of a cool headshot glitch secret shooter angle. The witch has a special animation while drinking a potion. They usually drink a potion to regain health. The witch will lift up his nose to drink the potion, but just imagine having a nose so big and humongous, you need to use magic to lift it up, just so you can drink something. Shout out to everybody who has a giant nose. Do you ever struggle with your water blocks freezing because you have the bright idea to create a farm inside of a snowy biome? Well, you can try putting some waterlogged leaves into your farm. The water will still flow into your soil and remain damp so farms can grow, but it will never freeze and turn into ice because it's in leaves. That is something I honestly need to do in my farms. And when a silverfish stops targeting you, the silverfish will crawl around and look for a block to crawl inside and hide, turning it into an infested block. So when you return from that area, the silverfish will pop right back out and go for round 2. Literally the most annoying mob in the game. Giving allies a block to hold also gives them a superpower, invincibility. You are completely unable to inflict damage to an ally that is currently under your ownership. And on top of that, not being able to hit from swords or axes. Allies also become immune to explosions while holding blocks for you, so that's a pretty cool fact. Hoglins cannot fit into boats because they are humongous, but a little trick to get around this is just by putting a baby hoglin inside of a boat. The baby hoglins will fit inside with no problems at all, and eventually they will grow to a full-size hoglin and remain seated inside until you decide it's time for freedom again, but obviously I would never let them free. Look how silly a hoglin looks inside of a boat. Bro needs to lose some weight. Taking a close look at the fisherman villager, you might notice something you recognize. At the bottom, you can see the texture of the original fish before it was replaced by the more diverse fish such as cod, salmon, and pufferfish. Look closely at the texture of the torch right next to the texture of the lever. Do you notice anything? Well, the torch and the lever use the same exact bottom half texture, literally down to the darker pixels at the bottom. The only difference is the 4 pixels at the top, the orange for the torch and the gray for the lever. These Minecraft artists are getting lazy. The sea lantern is one of the most underrated blocks in the game, and not just because of how it looks, but the block itself is literally animated. If you look closely, you can see a little swirl animation happening in the center of the block. It can be be hard to see, so make sure you turn up your brightness all the way. A great way to have fun with a fish on land is to put it inside of a glass tube with a slime block on the bottom. The fish flopping around will cause it to start jumping super high with the help of the slime block, and in some cases jumping nearly 20 blocks off the ground into the air. They literally become Michael Jordan. If you're traveling the end islands using ender pearls looking for an end city, but you're still a noob at throwing pearls properly, try this. Consider bringing some snowballs with you. Snowball throws exactly the same as an ender pearl, so if you're not confident in your throw and you might hit the edge of the island and fall into the void and lose everything, just throw a snowball first and see exactly where it lands. Then throw your pearl and it'll go the same exact spot, so you'll be safe. And then you won't lose hundreds of hours of work playing Minecraft. Originally, the red bed was the only bed available in the game. Just by using planks and white wool, it will make a red bed. But now the bed is the item in the game with the most possible unique crafting recipes, because you can use any 3 colors of planks, along with 16 different wool color options. That means there are 21,296 unique bed crafting combinations in Minecraft. Not all water is safe to land in Minecraft. A full water source block will completely break your fall, even landing on the smallest sliver or corner of the water. But if you decide to try and land inside of a cauldron with water, even though it's filled with water, your fall will not be broken and you'll probably end up dying from fall damage. So don't try that at home. The original texture for slimes did not have the translucent jelly look that we all know today. At first, slimes had a completely solid, opaque texture, and that was only in the game for 5 days, until it was forever changed to a transparent texture on the 28th of July in 2010. And making slimes transparent was definitely a good choice because the opaque slime just looks so cursed. Debug mode is a hidden type of Minecraft world generation that can only be found if you hold down the Alt key while pressing the world type button. It will then reveal the secret debug option. The debug world showcases literally every single type of block and different states they can be in, such as all the types of redstone, open and closed fences, and even blocks that you would only normally be able to see if they were connected to another block, like edges of glass panes. The debug world also showcases a lot of cursed blocks, like only the top and bottom of the doors and singular portal blocks. Even though the flint and steel requires a piece of flint and iron to craft, the tool itself was added super early in Minecraft's development, before the flint item was even added to the game. The flint and steel was originally only able to be obtained by mob drops before the crafting recipe was eventually added. And also, the flint and steel has seen 3 different textures throughout its existence. Some blocks in Minecraft have super short names like dirt or stone, but after the Copper Age update was released, we have a new block in the game with the longest name yet. The item in the game with the longest name is now the waxed weather copper golem statue. Like bruh, come on, I'm reading an essay. That one item has like 5 different elements all built into one single item. Minecraft is getting advanced. The regular orange fire will deal half a heart of damage every single tick. And while soul fire, the blue fire that spawns from lighting up soul sand or soul soil, does double the damage of regular fire, causing a whole heart of damage every tick. The same mechanic applies to campfires and soul campfires. So keep this in mind when you're making mob grinders or trying to trap your friend in traps. Soul fire will do more damage than regular fire. The Wooden Mansion has the chance to spawn with many different types of rooms. But one of the rarest rooms is called the lava room, which is a glass tube filled with lava, surrounded by obsidian. And if you clear up the lava inside, you will be rewarded with a whole diamond block to keep. Just make sure to clear all of the lava so you don't burn the diamond block when you're mining it. Mining a melon block with a Fortune 3 tool allows the melon block to produce up to 9 melon slices, which is an unfortunate hard cap, because if the melon block managed to drop more than 9, you can just craft the slices into melon blocks and repeat the process of breaking them, pretty much creating infinite watermelons. But sadly, Mojang thought of this and blocked it from happening. Imagine having an infinite watermelon generation farm. That would be pretty cool. Before it was officially named as Deep Slate, it was known as Grimestone, which honestly sounds like a better name than Deep Slate. Grimestone sounds like a real block you would find in a deep dark cave, exploring the depths and risking your life. While Deep Slate is just super boring and has no aura. It kind of makes me want to throw up. All types of wood and planks are able to be put into a furnace and used as smelting fuel, except for the woods found in the nether. Warped and crimson wood is actually completely immune to burning and fire, making it also unable to be used in smelting. So if you plan on making a long trip in the nether, don't forget to bring yourself coal to smelt items. If you type the phrase excited ZE or excited Z inside of the crafting recipe on the search bar, the entire language of the game turns into pirate talk. renaming every single block in the game into more pirate-fitting themes. Even the option tab is completely changed. I have no idea why, but it does that, so the more you know. Placing mob heads on top of a note block creates the sound of the mob itself. This works on zombie heads, creepers, piglins, skeletons, and even the ender dragon head, allowing you to remember the good old days of defeating the ender dragon for the first time. Or if you just want to simply scare your friends with a creeper hiss, this is your solution. The knockback 2 enchantment obviously makes it so when you hit a mob, it gets sent back way further than usual. But something super obscure is hitting a polar bear, only when it's in water with a knockback 2 sword. For some reason, it causes the polar bear to go way further than a usual mob when it's sitting in water. Chickens obviously walk around and drop eggs in Minecraft, but did you know there are infertile chickens? Let me explain. In the rare case you find a chicken jockey and manage to kill the baby zombie without killing the chicken will forever be unable to lay eggs, making it infertile. So the chickens will always be excluded from popping out babies. If you were to fill up your entire inventory of shulker boxes, and all of the shulker boxes are filled with stacks of 64, your inventory can hold 64,000 items in total. But this number gets even crazier if you fill up every single shulker box with either gold or iron blocks. Because with these blocks, you can turn them into ingots and then turn them into nuggets, allowing players to hold over 5 million items in their inventory, which is kind of like a cheat code. Riding a pig with a saddle and guiding it with a carrot is kind of a forgotten feature that nobody does anymore. But if you ever had to go through a 1 block tall gap and you're absolutely sick of crawling, you can actually ride a pig through that gap. You just have to suffer through having no vision and potentially dying of suffocation. So I don't know if it's worth it, but the blue axolotl is the rarest variant of the axolotl, not even being able to spawn in the world naturally. The blue axolotl can only be brought to life by breeding, having around a 1 in 1,200 chance to pop out as a baby. However, most people don't know the rumor that the blue axolotl is a reference to a Pokemon. Doesn't he kind of look like Mudkip? I don't know, maybe I'm making this up. They just look so similar. The minecart with a furnace is easily one of the most useless blocks in the game. So useless to the point when Bedrock Edition of the game was released, the developer literally decided to not even add it. It's gotten to the point where Mojang has entertained the idea of completely removing the furnace with a minecart from Java as well. But they probably realized that this would break some classic builds, so they didn't remove it. When coarse dirt was first added back in version 1.7.2, it was originally given the name grassless dirt, which actually explains the use of the block much better, because it's just a piece of dirt that can grow on grass. But shortly after it was added to the game, it was renamed to coarse dirt, which I honestly do not understand what it means, and then slightly retextured to look different from regular dirt. Mud blocks, while they appear like a full solid block, still allow items to soak through them and get stuck inside of a hopper, which means if you're making a sugarcane farm, it's easily the most efficient block to use, because now your sugarcane can get stuck on the dirt or sand and it'll go right through the mud into like a hopper. Seed pickles are actually capable of producing light, and the more pickles you add, the more amount of light is produced, which means a stack of 4 seed pickles actually emit more light, a light level of 15 to be exact, versus a normal torch which produces a light level of 14, which is kind of crazy. Forget traveling through the ocean using a regular boring boat. You should try attaching a lead to a dolphin so you can keep the dolphin grace effect. And if you want to travel even faster than that, equip some depth strider boots to maximize your speed. Now you'll be traveling the depths of the ocean nearly 40 blocks a second, which is much faster than a boring boat or swimming. Farming ender pearls in the game sucks. It's so hard, especially if you don't have the proper armor to fight endermen, because they do so much damage. But a little tip to kill endermen is to trap them inside of boats, because once they are trapped, they literally cannot teleport out, which will allow you to freely farm the endermen and collect their balls, and won't put you in risk of dying unless you walk too close. Copper has an absolute ton of obtainable and craftable items after the newest Copper Age update, making it one of the most versatile items in the game now, having an entire 131 items involving copper, including ingots, blocks, chests, statues, as well as torches and trial chamber keys. Axolotls look like peaceful and cuddly creatures to us, but not to any other fish in the game. If you put fishes in the same jar as an axolotl, it will literally create chaos and war, because the axolotl will start attacking and killing any fish on sight. And this actually relates to real life, because axolotls will prey on fishes like tadpoles in the real world and eat them. Axolotls will also attack and kill any squids. Yeah, these axolotls are on a mission to kill everything, even though they look super cute. If you take a closer look at chiseled red sandstone, you will notice there is a wither symbol built into the block. And while rather chiseled sandstone has a creeper face built into it, which was also one of my favorite blocks to build as a kid, the wither symbol on the block was suggested by a random Reddit user named Uleopuridodon. That is a very long, hard name to remember, which is confirmed since Dinnerbone, one of Mojang's developers, responded to a comment where the user claimed to come up with the idea, leaving him a heart emoji. Bees were a pretty cool addition to the game, giving us honeycombs, honey blocks, and adding so much more life to the game. But we were almost given some absolutely cursed looking bee skins. You probably didn't know the Minecraft bee went through 12 different known design concepts. And some of these designs are honestly super cute. I really like this one. The first one is like, he just looks like he flies mindlessly. The other designs look more like bees and they look kind of scary. Some of them look like an ugly cow. I don't know who designed that, but it looks horrible. It's an actual monstrosity. Like, can you imagine this chasing you around? I might quit Minecraft altogether. But the bee skin today looks alright, but I think this one would have been a lot better. You can easily trap a villager by putting a block of honey underneath them. Honey blocks don't allow villagers to jump, so you can simply surround the villager with a few blocks of honey and they'll be locked into place. Just be sure a zombie doesn't eat them. In Minecraft Bedrock Edition, if you have any item enchanted with fire aspect, it can actually be used to light TNT, light candles, and even campfires. This is a feature I really wish they added to Java Edition. It would honestly be such an improvement to quality of life in Minecraft. Instead of carrying around redstone or flint and steel, you can just use fire aspect for anything. In these Minecraft snapshots, there was actually a feature added where after the Ender Dragon was killed, it was able to be resummoned. This was a version where the end crystals wasn't obtainable yet. So instead of using end crystals, the player could build a creeper face out of clay, and this would trigger the dragon to be resummoned. Maybe this was a test to entertain the idea of respawning the Ender Dragon in later versions with end crystals. If you take a name tag and name a Vindicator Johnny, that Vindicator will start attacking every single mob around it, with the exception of other Vindicators, Pillagers, Evokers, and Ghasts. The name Johnny is a reference to the character Jack in Stephen King's movie The Shining. So if you have a friend named Johnny, stay away from him. Dirt slabs were actually a real addition to Minecraft at one point in time. In fact, they were the first ever slabs to be added to the game, but unfortunately they were removed. I don't think we will ever see dirt slabs added back because of how much it would change the entire landscape of the game. Imagine adding dirt slabs around every single dirt block or grass block inside of Minecraft's world. It would completely change how we see and play Minecraft. And that is definitely not something Mojang or even myself are ready for. You've probably seen this screenshot at least once in your life. The classic looking Minecraft with a familiar looking figure in the background. Yes, I'm talking about Herobrine, which you probably didn't even see. But what is super cool about this specific screenshot is that the original seed this screenshot was taken on has actually been found. A Reddit user named Kaminster, who is also known as Andrew555, hunted down the seed and finally was successful finding it back in 2020. The COVID pandemic really had people doing crazy side quests with their time. Changing your Minecraft language to English UK causes an absolute unacceptable change in the game. Usually this beautiful, delicious item is called a cookie, my favorite food ever in the world. But in the UK version, while pretty much every single block has the same name, the cookie is renamed to a biscuit. Like, what is that? This is not a biscuit, it is a cookie. And we need to start a petition to remove the name biscuit from the game because it is just not right. Well, there you go. That is one entire hour of random Minecraft facts and information. Hopefully you've already fallen asleep by now and I'm infiltrating your dreams at this very second. Or maybe you just watched this entire video because why not? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new in Minecraft. Sleep tight. Love you guys. Face reveal in December. I'm so chopped, so get ready to be blinded.
This world is so big. I lost my house. Where's my house?
Nate, I found a person